Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Right off the bat on today's show, Ford showing off a brand new police cruiser that's going to help out police municipalities all over the country, but it's not going to help them out in catching bad guys, albeit this thing's going to be able to catch the bad guys, but it's going to be able to do it a lot more efficiently. This is not going to be a vehicle you're going to see on one of those police car chase shows you've seen on the upper cable channels on the weekends. This vehicle is going to be able to save those municipalities money because this vehicle is a hybrid with a 2-liter 4-cylinder Atkinson cycle engine along with an electric drivetrain and a lithium-ion battery. Combined, this vehicle will make 38 miles to the gallon, saving those local municipalities for, depending on how many they buy of these, $4,000 a year in fuel costs per unit that they actually have on the road. Now, don't get it twisted. These hybrids are pretty nippy, so if you decide to elude the police, you're going to have to be pretty quick indeed. And what if you were going to run from the police? What would you use? Maybe you would use something like this. The brand new SRT Hellcat Demon. Yes, we're just 24 hours from the official release of this vehicle at the New York Auto Show. A lot of questions were answered, but there still are a lot of questions remain. We'll go over what we actually know right now. Remember when they talk about all the weight reduction of them actually just pulling things out of the car, including the sound system, the seats themselves. They'll sell a lot of that stuff back to you if you so desire to put them on the machine. The seats are probably the most interesting thing because the rear seat will cost you just $1 to put back in. The passenger seat, again, just $1. Not too shabby. Now, the vehicle, being classic Hellcat, comes with 2 separate keys. One being the black key, which puts a very pedestrian 500 horsepower. But the red key gets you the full Monty, and it is up from the 707 horsepower that was in the Hellcat to now 808 horsepower. In fact, SRT has done a lot of work to make this happen. They haven't talked about the displacement of this engine, so we're wondering if the block itself had actually been honed. They said there was work done to the block, the crankshaft, the pistons, the rods, and the valve train and the camshaft were all swapped out as well. The only thing that actually a carryover, the heads themselves. Even the supercharger's larger in displacement, putting out 4.5 pounds of boost at the actual full boost level. Now, if you put this thing on the start line, you got the trans brake on, you're ready for launch, you're using the SRT Super Chiller package, which not only is the massive scoops on this particular vehicle, but that air conditioning system that's rerouted to the intercooler itself. This vehicle, with 100 octane fuel, puts out the maximum power this vehicle makes. 840 horsepower and 770 pounds-feet of torque. Now, if you put this thing on the start line and launch this thing when the green light hits, it will set you back in the seat. 1.8 G's are actually thrown at you when this thing launches. Now, you have to put a little asterisk by this because this was all certified by the NHRA, which means they did this on a drag strip, a prepped drag strip. If you ever hear a drag racer actually talk about the groove, the center groove of the track, or the center part of each lane, is actually prepped for racing. If you ever walk on one of these, it'll pull your shoes off if they're not actually properly attached to your feet. So it's a very sticky surface, and thanks to those drag radials, and if you do the proper warm-up to get them to 200 degrees on the temp of the rear tires, this thing will become the fastest production car on the planet to 60 at just 2.3 seconds. Now again, if you take this thing off that prep surface, that time is really going to plummet. It won't be able to do well into that number. But this vehicle will also be able to do 9.65 seconds out the back door in the quarter mile at 140 miles an hour. Now here's where some of the questions start, because during the presentation they talked about this vehicle being in 3rd gear when it went out the back door at 140 miles an hour, which means that 8-speed ZF gearbox is not the gearbox of choice, at least in my mind, because what kind of speed is it going to be doing it in 8th gear? Actually, it's going to run out of puff at 8th gear because this thing's going to be running such a low RPM, I don't even know if the vehicle will even be able to pull itself. especially because they're only running 309 gears on the rear end of this machine. The other little question is the obvious one. What's it cost? When can we get it? How many they're going to build, which is all still rumor mill, at least as of now. But I'll tell you what, this SRT Demon Hellcat is an impressive piece of kit. It can pull the front wheels off the ground, carry for almost 3 feet. An impressive car. It does have a weird little deal where they talk about the NHRA has actually banned this car from competition. Listen, if you were going to run in showroom stock class, you're not going to race one of these cars anyway, because if you want a Dodge, you're going to get a drag pack Challenger. If you want a Chevy, you're going to get a Copo, and if you want to get a Ford, you're going to get a Cobra Jet. The supercharged Hemi V8 drag pack Challenger will do almost a second quicker in the quarter mile, which isn't even in the same league as what this actual Demon can run. That Demon will actually get annihilated by that drag pack Challenger. That's the car you really want. Of course, you can't drive that car on public highways. Now, what if you just don't want to go really fast in a straight line when you're running from the police? You may need to throw in some curves in there. Maybe you're going to need one of these machines, the brand new Carbon 65 edition of the Chevrolet Corvette. Now, that name actually gives a lot away because the carbon means carbon fiber. The rear wing, rear diffuser, front splitter, a lot of the interior parts. Heck, even the center caps on the wheels are done in carbon fiber. Even the roof of the car if you get the hardtop version. Now, the 65 gives away a little bit too because the Corvette's been on this planet for 65 years. Yes, this vehicle is celebrating its 65th anniversary. They're only going to build 650 of them. That is for the world, so anywhere on this planet, you can get your grubby little mitts on it, and it will cost you an extra $15,000 over the sticker price. Now, what if you thinking maybe you can't get away from the police by doing through the corners or going super fast in a straight line? Maybe you have to go off-road. Nissan's got your back with a brand new Nissan Rogue Trail Project. Now, we've seen this particular machine before. We've seen it on the ski slopes, in the snow. Comes with a 2.5-liter normally aspirated 4-cylinder, making 170 brake horsepower and 174 pounds-feet of torque. But obviously, you can't stop looking at those big tracks. The Go Anywhere tracks is a pretty cool piece of kit. Obviously, Nissan's not going to build this particular machine. All right, we talked about an off-road option, a straight line option, around the curves option. How about a driver to get you away from the police? How about this guy? Two-time Formula One champion Fernando Alonso. He's in the news for something really special because he's going to spend the back half of the month of May in Indianapolis, Indiana, running the 101st running of the Indianapolis 500. Right after he finishes the Spanish Grand Prix, he's going to be on a jet to Indianapolis to run the 500-mile race for Andretti Autosport, the team that actually won the 500 last year, in a car that's going to be sponsored by McLaren. This is going to be a first time McLaren's been back at the Speedway in near 40 years. So this is going to make the 101st running of the Indianapolis 500 really special to have Fernando Alonso in the lineup and McLaren as well. It's going to be a fun month of May. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Please, I apologize to any police for making light of running from the police. I didn't mean it in that particular way, or to any manufacturer may be upset about this. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time. Also, if you'd like to like us over on the Facebook page, you could have got the update notice to watch that Hellcat Demon release party in live, because I had that streaming up on the page itself. Thanks for watching. And we're going to see you again real soon.